Avoir. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fit Pet Boston Talks. My name is Leah Lodato and I'm the host of the show. And today I'm going to do a short little episode about nutrition and what you should be feeding your dog. Before we get going, I just want to do a couple housekeeping things. First of all, I think I'm going to post more on my own personal Instagram account about the podcast at Fit Pet Boston if you don't follow me. If you are listening and you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe, and you can even rate the podcast if you listen on Spotify or Apple Music. It really helps more people get to the show. And I think a goal for November and December, so it's the last week of October right now, my goal for November and December is to do a podcast every Friday and just release a little, a short episode, maybe on a topic, maybe with Laurie, maybe by myself, just to keep it consistent. And we get a lot of questions, and oftentimes I'm walking around doing my duties for the day, and I think, this would be a great little podcast episode topic. So I want to make that available, especially to our clients, those of you guys that work directly with us and listen to the show. We really appreciate you, and we hear you, and we're here to help you, and we just can't thank you enough for your loyalty and patronage, and for giving us the opportunity to help you build a better relationship with your dog. It's really what it's all about for us. So today I wanted to talk about nutrition because it's something that comes up often with our clients, right? They acquire a new dog, they adopt a dog, they rescue a dog, and they adopt a puppy, and they're like, what should I feed this dog? And I think it might be disappointing to hear this, but I'm never going to endorse a specific dog food or a way of feeding your dog because it really depends on your dog. Your dog is going to tell you everything that you need to know about whether or not the food that they are currently eating is quote unquote working. So the thesis for this episode is going to be that your dog's biofeedback will give you all the information you need regarding the effectiveness of the diet you've chosen. So what the heck is biofeedback? Well, biofeedback is taking a look at your dog's stool, their skin, their coat, their nails, their eyes, their ears, and assessing whether or not that these items are healthy. So you look at your dog's stool, are they having good bowel movements? Is their stool firm? What's their stool volume like? Their skin, do they have dry, flaky skin, or does it look good? Their coat, is it shiny? Is it thick? Or is it dry and brittle, and do they pull their coat a lot? Same with the nails, the teeth, and the eyes, and the mouth, okay? So food is a very easy thing for us to control, especially dog food. It's very easily packaged and presented. But I am never going to endorse a dog food on the podcast or myself because different dog foods are going to work really well for some dogs and really poorly for others. And this is for a variety of different reasons that I'm not going to get too far into. I do want to do 2 other episodes about food, one pertaining to carbohydrate metabolism and another concerning the breakfast effect. I don't want to talk about that today because I'll go down a rabbit hole on each one and not be able to come out of it. But if your dog does well, with quotation marks, on the dog food that they're eating, there's no reason to change. You may go on social media and see a social media influencer throwing a bag of the dog food that you feed your dog into the trash. And suddenly you think, oh my God, this dog food is trash. My dog is going to die on this dog food. It's full of, preservatives and poisons, and, dog food companies are evil, blah, 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 blah. Don't pay attention. You may listen to a podcast, and that person, it might be a dog trainer that you really admire and respect, and they endorse a specific brand of dog food. And you don't feed that brand of dog food to your dogs. It's okay. You don't need to run out and switch your dog's brand of dog food because Joe Schmo dog trainer with a huge online following feeds X brand of dog food. You just don't. If your dog is healthy on the dog food you're feeding, you don't have to switch. Very common question that we get. I just adopted this dog or puppy. I don't know what to feed them. And the answer is yes, you do, because they were eating something before you adopted the dog. So before you rescued the dog or adopted the puppy, they were eating something. Get that information from the breeder or the rescue. Continue the dog on that food And if they're not doing well on that food, switch to something else. And if they are, keep it. No need to change. Right? A sidebar would be when you do adopt a puppy or rescue a dog, one thing that Laurie and I always do is bathe the dog when they come into the house. So sometimes you might rescue a dog and that dog may never have had a bath before or had their ears cleaned or had their nails clipped. So go to a DIY dog salon or fill up your bathtub, nice lukewarm water, a nice mild shampoo. Don't go crazy on the air dryer. We want it to be a nice experience for the puppy or the rescue dog to be bathed. Give them a nice restorative bath and then start assessing those biofeedback markers to see if their food is a good fit. Another indicator is your dog's appetite on the food. So does the dog like to eat the food? Which people don't really talk too much about, right? If you're, feeding a lower quality dry kibble and your dog isn't really interested in the food and they're a young dog and they're, a growing dog, that is an indicator. I know that it seems to be like pandering to the dog, but it's not. Pick something that the dog enjoys eating. If you're interested in learning about ratings for dog food and also interested in learning about recalls for dog food, which I think everybody should be aware and know, you can go to dogfoodadvisor.com. I think it's a great resource. It's a website that rates dog food based on the ingredients and the digestibility of the food, and also will give you free recall alerts if a food has been recalled. So again, don't be pushed around by anybody or any social media post or advertisement that you see. Somebody that's pushing raw food on their clients, or maybe you've seen a farmer's dog ad pop up on your Facebook 1 billion times and you're reading all of these reviews about how a dog could barely walk and had such bad arthritis and switched to this fresh feeding food and now they're doing agility. That's not your dog. You don't have to worry about it. Just feed what is working for your dog, and if what you're feeding stops working, switch. Don't ask any questions about it. So I'm going to end by giving 2 examples from my own experience from our 3 dogs. So we have a young dog named Raven. She's just turned 1. We have a 5-year-old Rottweiler named Buddha and a 6-year-old rescue dog named Reuben. So just give you an example. Reuben and Buddha had been eating the same dry dog kibble forever, their whole life. And about 6 months ago, Reuben started to gain weight on that food. I don't know why. He just did. He started to look like a sausage. So I didn't call the dog food company. I didn't make a big deal about it. I just said, I got to cut down on this food. So I cut down on the amount I was feeding him, but I was feeding him quite a bit less than the recommended amount of food. And what happens when you do that is that the fortified vitamins and minerals that are in the food also get reduced. So I was reducing the food down and I wasn't comfortable with the amount I was feeding him. So I said, you know what? I'm going to switch him over. So I switched him over to a blend of food that Raven was going to eat. Okay, so she was still on a puppy blend of food. I had a food picked out that was the same blend, but just, a different kind of macronutrient profile. So I switched Reuben over to that food. Once Raven came of age, I took Raven off of the puppy food and onto the, adult food. And so now Reuben and Raven eat the same food, and Reuben lost some weight. His skin looks good. His fur looks good. His nails, his teeth, his eyes, his ears, blah, 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 look really good. Okay, this food is working for him. His appetite is good. Now Raven and Reuben eat the same food. Now, we do supplement our dog's diet with high quality, freeze-dried or air-dried treats. I believe variety is the spice of life, especially if you have a healthy dog. Introduce them to different protein sources. Introduce them to different brands of food, whatever the case may be. We feed fresh food to our dogs. The majority of their diet is dog kibble, but again, we do kind of mix it up as a treat or for training. Okay, so that was my first example with Reuben. Again, assessing biofeedback, dogs getting fat. Make changes as needed. The changes work, out of sight, out of mind, until something comes up. All right, so now let's take Raven. When we got Raven, we put her on the puppy food blend of what Buddha and Reuben were eating. And When we got her, she was really young, so her stomach was terrible. On the dog food from the breeder, on the dog food we were feeding, it was just, that's what could be a whole separate podcast episode. Anyway, she was eating the blend of dog food that Buddha and Reuben were on, but the puppy version. Her stomach was terrible. It never got better. I switched her over to a puppy blend of dog food with a different protein source. Did really well on the food, firmed up her stool. She's always had a voracious appetite and super healthy. As she grew up, switched over to the adult blend of that food, doing really well on the food. Coat, beautiful, shiny, doesn't have dandruff. Again, she's a young dog, so if she's eating the right food, this should be no problem. Grew at a great rate. She's going through her first heat cycle right now at just under 13 months, so on track for that. And, she's doing really well. So again, assessing biofeedback. Her stool was really bad. Her stomach was really bad. Made a change. Again, didn't ask questions. Wasn't frustrated because, let me tell you, it can be very frustrating if you have multiple dogs in the same household and they're all on different types of food. It would be a lot easier to feed her the same food that Buddha and Reuben are on, but it's not practical and it's not the best thing for my dog, so I have to make those decisions as I see fit. So, again, just a short episode about how to start thinking and making decisions about what to feed your dog. Dogfoodadvisor.com if you're interested in learning about the quality of the kibble that you have chosen. And also if you're interested in learning what dog food brands get recalled. And there are brands that get recalled more than others. I'm not going to put them on blast on the podcast, but you need to be aware of them, and I would stay away from those dog food brands. Otherwise, figure out what works for you and your dog. Don't let anybody tell you that a specific way of feeding or a specific dog food is trash. That's a decision that you have to make on your own. This is also a continuation from the conversation we had in episode 65 with Laurie regarding dog food and nutrition and how to make good decisions. That was a great episode if you want to listen to it. We talked a little bit about disc dog sports and about how to keep your dog safe when they're on the field, if you have an athletic dog, etc. And yeah, it was a good little resource. So if you want to go back and check that out, by all means, do it. Otherwise, I will see you guys next Friday, as that is going to be my goal for the rest of 2023. Get one of these episodes out every Friday. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.